Okay. Welcome everyone to the Overthinking Football Show. I do this every Monday to Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon, and then also Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. So I'll be back again tonight. If you do miss out on any of the shows, just know that you can check it out on Facebook. All of the lives are there in full, and then also on YouTube, where I've even cut them up. So please support me on all three of the platforms. If you are on Facebook and you're wondering where are these sounds, these voices that you're going to hear coming from, you have to join me on TikTok. Follow the account, and then I can let you in to be a part of the panels. Aren't you happy to see me smiling? Ntseki did the job. Khoza amahle, the perfect glamour boys. Hola. Well, Lutula says happy to see you smile. Okay, so as you know, how we always start this is I'm going to speak about the two matches now, and then we're going to speak about the Chiefs match later. So now we're going to do Sundowns Swallows and Pirates Kukune, and then we're going to do Chiefs later. But I'm going to start off like we always do with the press conferences. So let's hear what the coaches had to say. So I'll start with Coach Rulani. We're going to start with the Sundowns match, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's play this.
Good afternoon to members of the media. Congratulations to the team. I thought, a very complicated game. I mean, for many reasons, I think you would know. And then also got even more complicated with the red card. But a cup game where the result really matters, and now we move to the next round, and we get to focus a little bit more also on the league with some difficult fixtures coming up.
I'm going to let the first question come in.
Sorry, and I must apologize again. I'm really struggling with the flu.
Coach, what was the plan after the red card? Because I'm sure you wanted a bit more from your team, especially in the first half after the red card. Something was missing, but you made changes as well. So just talk to us in that moment and what you saw from your team.
Yeah, I made a very big tactical mistake after the red card. And it's a mistake I committed last season. And I told the players at halftime that I made a mistake, I repeated it, and I have to rectify it. And then, fortunately, I work with such good human beings that they forgave me, number one. And number two, they helped me to rectify it. And it got a lot better in the second half. And that's why I congratulate the team, because the game of football belongs to them. It was important that we won, important that we got the goal from the mistake that was rectified, and I'm very proud of the players, very proud.
Coach, after very impressive pre-season, were you surprised?
Okay, so then that was Rulani. Sundowns fans, I'm sure you guys are hoping this flu is the reason why you've been having problems. Guys, let's try to get to 10,000 likes. I'm going to go into what Komphela had to say, and then we can speak about our thoughts about the match.
Representation of ladies. Well, what do you want to coach? Women's Month and about short kanje. I get lodge a complaint protesting. Thank you.
Colleagues, are we ready with our cameras? Thank you, colleagues. Coach, I'd like you on the result, just to summary of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was a difficult one. First of all, I must thank the Mamelodi Sundowns family for receiving us well, and especially myself. It still feels like home, and I appreciate that. And from a match point of view, I think the red card that we got just beginning of the match did not make our lives easy. But apart from the red card, I have a feeling that we played very well in the first half. We maintained good shape and we could resist sensibly. And there were moments where I thought from maybe set play, corner kick, we could get something. But to be honest, we did not capitalize. Got into the dressing room and we felt, no, we're still under pressure, but the pressure was well controlled. Then the mistake again occurred. Second half, just as we tried proceeding, and we lost the ball, and then they went on. And I don't know how many of us had the privilege to look at the visuals, because to a certain extent, you don't accept it as a goal per se. Could it have been an offside? But you take it and go. And the lessons that you take out of this is not a loss, but a character that was displayed by the team. And we'll go back, then knuckle down, get into the third match of the league with this character that we got from this match.
Okay, so those were the comments from the two coaches. Let me just make sure we're back on the proper screen. Those are the comments from the two coaches. I'm going to open up so that we can speak about it. The way I saw it, Sundowns is still having a bit of an identity crisis. And I don't want to call it a crisis because you can't call something a crisis when they've won the 3 games, right? They've won the 3 games they've played, but it's not necessarily as fluent as Sundowns as we used to have, man. Sundowns, you'd know, the moment you go down to 10 men, it's over. The moment you go down, the moment, actually before you had 10 men, they'd be all over you. And I feel as though to have the first 3 matches end very closely, even our game, we could have snatched it back. It's very interesting. We're going to see how they progress, and we're going to see how well they're going to, get better under Rulani. I'm not particularly scared of the Sundowns, but they're getting results. A Sundowns fan let me know that this is the first time in the past 3 or 4 years or something like that where Sundowns has won their first few games of the league. So let's see how that plays out. In terms of the actual game itself, I think Umasego, there's a video that I have coming out later. Umasego is one of those players where he's a good winger. He knows what to do, but the issue comes when you're asked certain questions and teams are doing certain things to you. How do you respond? Do you carry on doing the same thing and not actually getting results, or how do you change that? You said SuperSport United is the 3rd best team and they lost when it mattered most, plus draw with Amazulu. True, but I don't think of Gavin as a trophies coach, like a tournament coach. I don't even think he's going to take Africa very seriously. Okay, guys, so before I get derailed, I'm opening up the lines. You have to be following me in order to request. Then when you request, I'll add you to the panel, and we can speak a little bit about this match. While I wait, let me read some of these comments. Instead of playing Masego should be playing Morena and Nku. Masego is technically poor. Sorry, they plan to defend and try to get them on the break. That's why they don't score much goals. Otherwise, if they can go pound to pound, you'll see goals. Wait until they play Pirates. Sundowns won't play similar football as last season. True, they win, but not as convincing as before. But they still need to work on some areas. But he's failing. Never give up, that's true. We're talking about Pirates after this one. So I'm going to give this chat up until, let's say, quarter to 2. And then we're going to go into Pirates. Let me let the guys in. I saw people who are here. Let me just get everybody in. Okay, there we go. Black Butterfly, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
As usual, my team is on form. I just want to know, can I stay on the line or can I join in later when we discuss Chiefs? I can go now with this one as well.
Chiefs is going to be later. We're going to do it at 8, so it's up to you. How do you feel? Do you want to stay?
It's fine.
Okay.
This one is also fine because do you want me to get going? Because it's been an exciting footballing weekend.
You can give me your general thoughts. Let's start with the general thoughts of this Sundowns Swallows game.
Okay. Firstly, from Swallows' perspective, obviously, I think since Steve is there, there was probably more hope for Swallows last season when Nyatama was there. In honesty, the style of play, the way the players were fighting is different, you know. So I don't see Swallows achieving more than what they achieved last season. Let's start there. Because I think Nyatama was the right one. Yes, he's probably there to learn from Steve. But from my side, there's nothing more to learn based on the way they were playing.
Do you think the red card changed anything?
It probably did, but also then that arrogance from Andile Charlie. I think it was too early for him just to walk in to their team, knowing that this guy mentally he's got a point to prove against this team, and you know his arrogance. It was always going to get the better of him. He wasn't going to play his easy flowing game based on the fact that the history that he's got. He's trying to prove a point. So I don't think yes, it had an effect on the game itself. But either way, I don't see them Swallows would have won that game even had that been the case. Be it so, even if you look at the Sundowns, it's an average team. I'm not gonna lie; these guys are being exposed more every week. We're seeing it more and more. I think I was candidating for Rulani the other day to say Rulani, but I think his average qualities are coming to play. That right that they had last season, slowly but surely, it's coming to an end now.
Maybe it's the flu. Maybe he'll get over his flu and then he'll be fine.
I hope he has flu until we meet now. MTN 8. We are ready. Based on the way we played, they can come. They can come.
Let me bring in Ndlela. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
Hola uthini bingelela nepanel lapho.
Now kusibukelele homecoming yaka Charlie na yaka Steve. What did you think about the game?
You know, one of the boring games. Abona makule game ye Sundowns and Super Sport.
Yeah.
Yo, you know, one of the boring games. So that match it was boring. And you know one thing engibonayo, people were criticizing, and even the media were criticizing Kaizer Chiefs. Whenever Kaizer Chiefs are playing with a team that has a red card, and people will say Kaizer Chiefs is not doing not scoring, football is not influential, but the same thing happened to Sundowns. Sundowns with so much quality, they failed to score like 3 or more goals at the time they were playing as Swallows, because already Andile Charlie did them a favor. Career threatening tackle that he did. So I expected the Sundowns to win 5 or more goals there, because I felt like the Sundowns needed to win that match, needed to prove something against Steve Komphela. Steve Komphela, yes, Swallows doesn't have identity. I wouldn't say Swallows are playing Ibolala Pants or whatever. They don't have identity. So but they showed too much respect to Sundowns. They were not attacking. They were not a threat. So as Sundowns were just overloading the left-hand side for Umaseko to keep on running. So Umaseko always running. There's nothing special about Umaseko. Mokwena, if he was a clever coach, as he claimed he should be benching Umaseko and continue with the starting 11 Salah season, and then put on Umaseko as time goes. That match needed Abu Sereno. So Umaseko didn't bring nothing. The only thing he did, it was just running all over. So that match, it was just boring. No, Steve Komphela didn't do justice to Swallows. He should have brought in Abomango earlier on to see Uguchi. What is in Swallows now? So now when Swallows, it was a boring game. One of the boring games I've witnessed MTN, especially for Sundowns. I expected much better from Sundowns. I expected Sundowns to score. So it looks like Sundowns, they are still gonna struggle, especially with MTN, and now they are gonna play Kaizer Chiefs go semi-finals, first and second leg. I don't think they're gonna contain pace Kaizer Chiefs there. I'm telling you, they're gonna struggle.
Okay, no, Yaguza. Hey, Makosi, man, I love it, man. Let me bring in Ubuntu. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Ngiyabonisa Kuni and the guys. Bonke nje.
No,
Hey.
welcome. Uthi ngale match Solo Sundowns.
Look, if you remember last week when we were speaking about who's gonna win this top 8 or whatever, I said to you, Supersport game and Stellenbosch, whatever. Then I went to watch the Sundowns game closely because I was expecting them to that whatever the draw came out to be yesterday. I actually wanted to see how they won us, let alone our mistakes and all that. This is the best time for any team to play Sundowns.
Okay.
They are weak. They are weak, not because of they don't have a best team. They have a best team, but they are not yet the Sundowns we know.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I don't want to speak about Chiefs. Like I don't know if Rulani still wants to play or he's still trying to figure out which pet team, which players he must use or whatsoever. But there's no way it's a cup tournament or whatsoever. 3 games are in the final. Now you've got players that played in that cup and that won the cup before and all that. Now you don't play them. You keep playing the same guys that won you the game against Chiefs, which Chiefs won them the game, not the other way around. So I thought you were to play the senior guys because you've got about Serino and all that. And to be honest with you, I think Upra Steve at Swallows needs to calm down for Andy. A lot of people were saying Andile, Chiefs should take Andile, blah blah blah. I commend what we did by not taking him because the football game is up and it's he's big headed in a way that now he went there to play, not to play the game but to play Sundowns, which now he costed the team. Otherwise, Steve had a plan. Look even at the goal. Okay, I'm not gonna say their goal was not supposed to be given and all that. We don't have VAR in SA.
Yeah.
If we had, that goal was going to be disallowed. Same as they played when they were playing us. They won us, but it was never a convincing win. You understand? Sometimes attacking, they play beautiful football, but now they've got 11 players on the field, but they are not still connecting like we used to. But this is the best time for any PSL team to play Sundowns. But if you're gonna go play the occasion and not play the football that when you played against them, you're gonna lose because the 11 players they put on the field are the best players in SA we have. So, but now it's just a matter of them finding the best petting how to play and all that. Otherwise, up to now, they will keep winning games, but it's not convincing.
I'm gonna bring in Agent 007. Agent 007, hey, your team is being attacked left, right, and center. What do you have to say? Welcome, Billy. Welcome. What do you have to say about the match?
Welcome, my man. Hey.
Left, right, and center.
I don't even know who to start with. But before I go into the game, I hear we'll be singing a new song soon, It's called Lion of Judah. I heard there's a lion in the district of somewhere. I'm just saying, I heard rumors that there's a lion in Klokop somewhere.
They're already trying to replace Masego. What did you think of this game?
No. I think let me start with Omaseko. People are forgetting he's 19. How old is he? He's 19. I think he's 19. Yeah, I think he's 19.
I'll check.
Yeah, he's 19. Just do a quick check. He's 19. He's from Supersport.
Yeah.
Compared to Sundowns, there is small pressure, not that much pressure. And this game he's played as a winger. The last game he played as a fullback. So they're still trying to figure out which one is his best position, you know. And unlike let's say Mailula was a striker. That was it, you know. And you take Abu Mdu is a midfielder. You know, we know what he is. So it's difficult for any player to not know which one is the best position, because you're always going to be moved around. And it's even more difficult if you are young, you know. So I'm not worried about Maseko, you know. He just needs to be coached right, and I think he's in the right team and with the right coach, you know. Glenn is proved to know how to manage youngsters, so I'm not worried about Maseko, you know. They just need to tell him that be versatile, you know. You don't always have to play what do you call it? You don't always have to play what do you call it?
All the way down
you don't always have to run down the line cross, you know. And first game he replaced Umudiba, you know. That's when he came as a fullback. So I see someone who's playing as a fullback, you know. So I'm not worried about him, you know. He just sometimes needs to cut in and pass the ball, you know. Cut in. That's Sundowns play, you know. So I'm not worried about him. And then,
what about your overall play? I mean, it seems as though in a normal Sundowns team, Masego wouldn't be doing this much, but it seems like System Rulani is calling on a different type of play.
Yeah, and it goes back to, again, let me go back to Maseko, you know. It goes back with Sundowns, with our fullbacks, you know. We expect Mudiba to be an inverted midfield, you know. He crossed midfield and he overloads midfield. I think Sundowns, with the new system, he's trying to play quick on the transition and spread the play wide and try and do crosses, you know. And with Zwane's age and Zwane's style of play, I don't think that's his best football, you know. And I think MIM would be more suited to it, but we do need Zwane, you know, to control the game. So I'm not yet impressed with the system, but it's getting the results. That's what matters, you know. I had people saying, red cards, Chiefs. Chiefs didn't win that game, so we're winning our games, you know. By hook or by crook. We're winning our games. You know? So yeah, and the last point that I wanted to make was Social Lulile, you know. We'll see. Will it make him or will it destroy him? I think we'll see. How he reacts to being benched.
Black Butterfly, let's talk about Sundowns a little bit, especially with this gameplay that they had. A couple of things happened. You had a red card to the Swallows players that they didn't take advantage of. Maybe it's a bit harder to take advantage of a red card than we think. And then secondly, Adrian mentioned Ushalulile out in the who didn't get to start in this game. Is Rulani letting maybe not favoritism or maybe like an ego thing get in the way of really taking advantage of matches?
I think if I look at something, I know there was a point where the cameras were on Chandelier, right? Somewhere it looks like there's something happening there, you know, and it's affecting even their game, and it's coming out. Maybe he's trying to instill a matter of all the players need to understand no one is bigger than the team, or there's no stars. That's why you find that he puts in, let's say Maseko is young, but now he's supposed to be playing in a final, which is not a final, but a big game, which they're expecting to win. Not 3 points. This is do or die, you know. So he's putting in players because generally, I mean, we all know Shadulile will start. He's part of the 11, you know what I mean? But now you look at even the body language. So now you're thinking, okay, what is actually happening? From my side, I think he's just trying to instill that thing to say no player is bigger than, and he's busy putting in his affirmativeness, you know. And yes, it's an ego thing which is coming out, because with Rulani we can read a lot of things by the way he speaks, things he does, you know what I mean. And luckily for him, like I said, technically they were out of the game. Hence he even admitted that, you know, the players saved him. He must just say thank you that they were good enough players who were able to manage the situation when he wasn't managing it. You know what I mean? So they took things into their own hand and played. So luckily for me, I still believe that this was the result which they should have won. But because of the players just having to take things into their own account, technically they were grinding out this result, you know. That's why they're even saying by hook or crook, that's how they're winning now. It's not an outright win for Sundowns anymore. So yes, Steve, we also need to give credit to him. the way they managed the situation after the red card.
I'm gonna come back for Steve. But I wanna just stick on Sundowns. This is the second game in a row where Sundowns has looked busy but hasn't been effective. Should this be a worry for Sundowns? Yes, they've got the wins, but they haven't been able to capitalize on red cards, on dominance. You know, should fans be worried, or is it just early?
Last week it was just something wicked. Maybe it was a bad game. You know what I mean? Now it's the second week running, especially so early in the season. Once you start the season off like this, you need to know, hey, we've got a problem and we need to fix it urgently. Because already now, this basically sets in motion how you're going to be playing for the rest of the season. Look at previous seasons. Sundowns, they started the season like a house on fire, and that carried them through. It gave the players that confidence. Now already, other teams are getting that confidence to say, we had this discussion last week. Now we're having it again. Definitely, Sundowns is beatable now. We don't fear Sundowns anymore. Even, we had one good game, but I'm telling you, we are ready for them even next. Not that we are ready, but it's going to be a tough game. It's not a walkover anymore.
Do you think that maybe we're looking at Rulani the way that the Arabs looked at Pitso, where maybe the football isn't beautiful, it isn't crazy like Sundowns normally, but they're getting the results? Is it maybe something we should also be wary of?
The thing is, you can't go from good results and playing well just to grinding out results, because then it's noticeable. If you were playing beautiful football all along, and now all of a sudden you're not playing well, but you're grinding out results, it's, as I said, it gives other teams hope. And now that's why we're starting to see these cracks in Rulani now. Now he's going to have to defend himself week after week now. Whereas if his team were playing good, and even if they lost 1 or 2, the confidence will still be there in the team as a whole. Would say, you know what, they missed out on their opportunities, or unlucky for Sundowns. But now you're not playing well and you're grinding out results for a team that was playing well. It basically creates that thing to say, hey, there's something brewing there. And even if there is nothing, something, because of that speculation, something will start to grow, and it will start to influence the players as well, and give other teams confidence to play against you. The only reason why other teams, sorry to go off this, not really, but the reason why other teams started taking advantage of Kaizer Chiefs, because there weren't any cracks, but the doubt was there. And automatically, once the doubt creeps in, it affects the players as well. So, as I said, this week, we're speaking the same thing again. Sundowns is beatable. The more we're going to say it, the more it's going to affect the players.
Okay, no, I hear you. Let me bring Ndlela. Sundowns got a red card, didn't quite do anything. Ngapha, Ushaluli Nsepenchini, even though Ushaluli is one of the good guys. Second game in a row where they've struggled to beat the opposition. Rulani this season, what are you seeing Ngale play Sundowns? Should Sundowns fans be worried?
You know, that's the problem. You just mentioned, should Sundowns fans be worried? Sundowns fans, they always expect their team to be perfect, more than other teams in the PSL. So whenever Sundowns is not performing, yes, we are gonna compare Sundowns to their rivals, which is the Kaizer Chiefs and the Pirates. We cannot compare Sundowns to Aboman City. They are not on the same level. So if Sundowns is doing the same thing that the Chiefs did, yes, we are gonna compare Sundowns to Kaizer Chiefs and also Orlando Pirates, cause I'm a rivals. Whenever if Sundowns is still performing, because the Sundowns already, they are setting the standards for EPSL and also South African football. They are the best teams currently and one of the best teams in Africa. We cannot take away that from Sundowns. So yes, going into this season, Mokwena, Sundowns team is still gonna beat a lot of teams. Yes, PSL, they are still gonna perform bad, but they are still gonna meet some well organized teams such as our Pirates. We cannot say Uti Pirates is a walkover, and also the Chiefs. Yes, the Chiefs right now they are showing signs of what they are gonna compete. So as Coach Wabo, yes, they do have a coach that is we can say very one of the best coaches we have in the country. But somehow now is gonna struggle there and there because of he's still a coach, so he's meant now to fail. Like he said, interview after winning 1-0 to Swallows, he did mention that he made a mistake and his players should forgive him. So it's one of those mistakes now is gonna do. So it's not like sometimes they are a perfect team. Now, but they did sign a lot of team. The reason why Sundowns signed some players is that now they are trying to reach certain heights, same height as Nababu Kaizer Chiefs. They are trying to reach the same height as Sundowns. So yes, Sundowns now they did make a mistake tactical. I believe in that match they should be playing Abo Serin. Usorino is nowhere to be seen. I believe Usorino is one of the best players at Sundowns. Abu Shalulile. If Shalulile was there, Gulia match, maybe Shalulile would ubezokora three or 2 goals there. So the new guy or was Brazil, yes, he's still new. He's still trying to adapt. People should watch ball. You can see that that player, which yes, is coming up all right, but I got adapt fully to PSL football. As much as Abo Castile, they are still trying to adapt. Yes, there are signs. Yes, we are poor. There are signs which is gonna be a quality player. But Abo, I still feel like Ushalulile is a much better player, and also Userino is a much better player than the Ubando Umasego. Yes, Umasego they just bought him for Super Sport. He's pacey, but in terms of reading the game, Umasego in terms of reading the game, no. He relies more of coach Azumbrasel and stuff. Abo Serino, they can't dictate a match. They can win new matches. Players such as Abo Serin. So Umasego already says okay, he's gonna run there, it's gonna be pacey, and then Uzo cross. Already says Umasego. There's nothing special as like take away the running Gamasego. He won't assist more. Take away the running. He's still young, but if you could check Abo Serino I gonna pay Serino, but in terms of reading the game and detecting play and also linking up Nabo Shalulile, Abo Serino is one of the best players there. Sundowns do have, and also Nabo Neo Maema. So it's up to Rulani Mokwena Uguchi is gonna play the best players or is gonna play the new signings.
Let me jump in. I just want to ask you then. I hear that you were saying that about Rulani, but I know I asked about the Sundowns fans. Should we be worried that even though Sundowns is not playing as well as we know them to be playing, it's 3 wins?
Okay, my wins at Sundowns are not convincing. This Sundowns only managed to score, let me say, 4 goals now since the start of the season. Like Sundowns, we see they are more fluent, they are more attacking, they are gonna score goals whenever you're Zoldan in Sundowns and you get a red card. And even if you're in Sundowns, it's a kind of red card, but Sundowns are gonna dominate. So we are used to that Sundowns. So Sundowns, they did set the standards high for them. So Tina, obviously, if Sundowns is gonna play this way, they might have a problem. They might have a problem. DSTV Premiership going the season of college. So Lama wins are not convincing. The guys are not convincing. Okay. The way Bawina corner is not the Sundowns that we are used to. Yes, we know what it's still the start of the season, but the Sundowns are current DSTV champions, so we expect much better from them.
Hey, Mina, Nyasava just that they've got their 3 wins. Let me bring in Ubuntu. We've seen a red card. We've seen Sundowns not necessarily playing to the best of their abilities. Should Sundowns fans be worried that maybe it doesn't seem like they're coming together and it looks like there might be issues there, there might not be. What do you think of that? Should Sundowns be worried?
Hey, bro, you know what? I don't think we Sundowns fans should be worried. Instead, all the other 15 team supporters should be worried. Why I'm saying is that we complain that because Sundowns is winning, right? And they are playing poorly or not according to what they normally according to their standard, right? But still they are winning.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
imagine when they hit the field running, when they start playing as that Sundowns, who would want to face Sundowns?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any team that would love to face them. That is why I was saying earlier, it is the best time for any team to play them while they're still trying to find their pattern of play. Because once those guys, they form and gel, I promise you, there is no team that is going to be able to face them. One thing that is bothering me the most is that Rulani, favoritism is killing the team. I was listening to his post-match or interview where he was saying Uzwane is old, Uzwane is 34 and blah blah blah. But he's got Ubongani, who's this guy? Zungu. Way older than, not way, but almost similar age with Uzwane. He's got Usirino, he's got Ushalolile. I mean, that is where now favoritism kicks in and breaks the teams. But for me, I'm worried about them. That is why I'm happy that we are going to play them again while they are still trying to regroup, because once they regroup and they know how they want to play, it's going to be difficult for any team to face them. We need to sit down, just to be honest, they are winning games playing bad.
Yes.
They won a game without Ushalolile. What is important, we need not to forget one thing. It's a cup, it's a tournament, it's a cup game, whatever. There is no 2 points needed. You just need a win to progress to the next round. I mean, even if playing against Chiefs, they draw 0-0, then they go smash us on penalties. It doesn't matter. They will go progress. They will win the final whatsoever. Imagine, my point is simple. We can say Rulani this, Rulani that. Are they winning the games? Playing bad? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Now, what is there to complain about? They're winning because it's not only them. It's all the teams. There is no team that has won convincingly, except for Pirates when they beat Isikukuna that day. Otherwise, all the other teams are still trying to find. I can't even talk about us. We are the worst out of the 16 teams trying to still find what we want to play and all that. Them, they know how they want to play, but it's just a matter of ticking those dots, you know?
Yeah. Okay. No, I hear you. Agent 007, is it a case where what is it? Is it going to be that, are you more worried Sundowns will play badly until the end, or are you worried that we should be worried that you guys are playing badly and winning, and by the time you have it perfectly, you're going to have the points that you should have, quote unquote, given up, and the wins you should have given up? Which one is it?
I think after this show I must be given my lawyer certificates. Because here's the thing with Uzwane. What Coach Rulani was saying, he's 34, he can play 90 minutes, you know. People are going to have an agenda that, hey, he doesn't want to play Uzwane, hey, this, that, you know. It's not that he doesn't want to play him 90, he has to manage him, you know. And unlike Europe,
and apparently he had flu. That doesn't he have flu? He said one of the other things is that he's got flu.
Like even for me, even if he doesn't have flu, it's a good thing to play him, 60 minutes and then play 60 minutes on Wednesday. Because in Europe, people are talking about Modric and stuff. Those guys play once a week, except if there's UCL things, So I think he's managing very well, And the point that you asked at the beginning was Oshalulile, Like I said, it will make him or break him, But, coaches generally always want to try and make a statement, You could see about Ten Hag with Marcus Rashford. He was a top goal scorer, came late for a meeting, dropped him, So sometimes coaches do make this kind of statements, And I think I trust Oshalulile than most players because I think he has that big heart. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
Back to the question that you're asking. Like you said, Opta Jabu said, it was the first time since 2010, coached by a Spanish guy. I don't even recall the name. I don't even know he's Spanish or what. When he won first two games, So generally Sundowns don't start well. you know. So I think teams should be afraid that Sundowns is not historically are not teams which start good, but today we're not starting good in terms of play, but points we're gaining the points, you know. And on top of that, we're trying a new system, you know. What is gonna happen if that system works? And our usual diamond system also, we know we have perfected it.
You can always go back, yeah.
You can always go back to that, you know. So I think it's good that we are being underestimated for once, you know, and it is good that everyone wants to play us. So it's okay. Play us, it's fine. There's no problem. Come and get our seats. It's fine.
I hear you. Let me go back to Black Butterfly. Black Butterfly, let's talk about Moroka Swallows. So much was said about Steve and him going to Swallows and what it could mean and his history and him. We haven't seen, or at least in this game, we didn't see Swallows offer anything. Even after, okay, fine, you can say the red card did something, but surely in a cup game at some point you go, you know what, let's throw the kitchen sink. Why didn't we see more from Swallows?
I think from my side, as I said, I think Sundowns, and this is this new frenzy where you're introducing too many new things on something that was working last season. Not everyone should be introducing new things, and yes, you do your changes here and there, but I think Swallows, they lack the cohesion that they had last season, right? And like I said, it's purely on the basis that as much as Nyatama's supposed to learn from Steve, he was doing quite well. You know what I mean? So I think he's also being, maybe we don't know behind the scenes. Maybe Steve is allowing him, you know, to have, because I saw him there, he's active, you know, in some of the discussions. But I think somewhere they've lost that thing that Nyatama gave them last season as a head coach. Because I mean, they were doing well. We didn't expect them even to reach top 8 last season. Yet now that Steve is there, I don't know if it's a party that he carries around from team to team, but I don't see anything different, you know. And like I said, Steve had a point to prove. Andile Charlie had a point to prove from a Morocco Swallows perspective, but they didn't offer anything going forward, which at least last season they were able to give. So far, I haven't seen anything from Swallows that you can say, you know what, okay, this team, they're progressing from where they were last season. Yeah, maybe it's early days. Maybe they will still. But so far, the expectation has actually dropped because there was some type of level of expectation from Swallows. New kid, new this, you know. So we were hoping for bigger change and better things, a new revive. Even now, they're back to Morocco Swallows, you know. So we're expecting glory days, but maybe it was the red card. We can't really say. Like I said, I think they just defended it well. Once they got the red card, they managed the situation. It wasn't as if Sundowns were all over them. So maybe we still need to give kudos to the technical team in that aspect and to the players for soldiering on. Although they didn't get anything out of the game, or they weren't pushing even forward enough, at least to get an equalizer. Then we'll see from there, you know, lack of the draw, penalties or something. There wasn't even that. It was just, okay. They basically gave up.
But do you think that Steve cares about these things? Should Swallows fans be worried that in the first 3 games they've played, I don't know, I think Swallows has 2 losses. Is it 3 losses?
If I'm not mistaken, it's 3. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't gone into the league. And it's early days, but already you're playing with fire once you at that level. And that's why I said to you, at this stage of the season, it's important that you give the players confidence and players have the arrogance to play with. Pirates is going to be a problem now because, yes, they lost 1 game, but I mean, ever since, they feel now, and automatically the players also feel that, you know what I mean? They have that arrogance in their play. They have that confidence. So now it's going to make it difficult for Swallows because now, as much as Steve is going to be a motivator, he's going to give them the English, they need the Nyatama speech. Guys, we can do this. And give them that. Say, we come from nothing, we're going to something. Even him as a coach, he's part of that team that I'm coming from nothing. I also want to prove myself. And he instilled that in the players. Where Steve is coming from up there, he's coaching guys down here, trying to get them up there. Whereas Nyatama is saying, let's get up there together. So, I in my opinion, Steve Komphela for Swallows was a bad choice.
Okay.
We should have left Nyatama, give him at least 5 games, 6 games, and then see what comes out of there. Then you bring someone in if he's struggling. But give him the benefit of the doubt. He's done well last season. Let him get his coaching badges while he's even at the club, and you grow together. Okay. It's something new. It would have been a new way of life, but now we're having a new team, new ways of playing, new management style. Yet, because obviously they've sorted out their financial stuff now, so it's a new era that's coming through. But now you're bringing something, old tactics from Steve, coming with old tactics into something that could be growing together. So I would have said give Nyatama at least 4 games, 5 games, and then you make that tactical change if he needs the assistance, because he wouldn't have left Swallows. He would have just been moved back to assistant, get a new head coach to assist him. But now you've basically taken that away, brought Steve Komphela in. His way of thinking is different to Nyatama. I mean, even their personalities are different. Definitely their styles of play are different. Their characters are different. So
okay, let me bring in Udlala. Talking about the Swallows and Steve, you know, we spoke so much about Steve coming in, and everybody made a big hoo-ha about Steve who joined the Swallows. Hey, what are they going to do? What? So far, it hasn't been a good time for him, and they've looked pretty poor. They didn't give anything in this match. I know, but hey, look at, but it's a cup competition. You come in and you go, you know what, guys? Let's try and win this game at some point. Utingo Steve in this game.
You know, it's still early days for our coach Steve Komphela to even judge them based on 3 games and say Steve Komphela is not coaching the right way. Maybe it's still early days for Abu Steve. But coming into this match, even if Sundowns were not in their best mood on Saturday, but Swallows were never gonna beat Sundowns. Yes, we know Sundowns they were not the Sundowns that we know. They're gonna dismantle the Swallows, but Swallows, there was no way they were gonna beat Sundowns, even if they played Abu Mango, Abu Tumsane Zuma. There was no way Sundowns is gonna beat Sundowns, Swallows. Right? So the thing is about Coach Steve Komphela, he plays too much defensive football. I don't understand, because Swallows is not okay. Swallows, we do understand Swallows is not on Sundowns level, but Steve Komphela should have taken the match to Sundowns, should have attacked more Sundowns Mabasa, because I believe Mabasa it's one of the clinical strikers we have here in South Africa. So the way Bekadlala Nakhona, the Ama midfielders were not providing for Mabasa. They were not like ama combination there with Swallows. So I believe Uguti, yes, Unyatama did well, just like Butterfly is saying. Unyatama did well last season. And Swallows did the same mistake that the Chiefs did whenever they fired Kevin Hansen, brought in Atazwane, and Atazwane managed to qualify Kaizer Chiefs to CAF Champions League, and then to the final. And then come the final, Stuart Baxter was the coach. This is the same situation as Swallows. Unyatama was doing well. Hey, you can tell, understanding my players, because of Swallows at one point they were there, they were close to being relegated. And then came Unyatama, former captain, coaching Swallows, and Swallows came back alive again. We saw Swallows winning matches. We saw Swallows relegating Marumokalan. So for Steve Komphela to go there, yes, we do understand Unyatama is still an upcoming coach, is not yet a finished product of a coach. You do understand Steve Komphela has more experience than Unyatama. Yes, that is why I believe Abo Swallows. That's why they chose Steve Komphela, because of Steve Komphela is coming from Sundowns, and coming from Sundowns, Steve Komphela is used to his success. So now he's going to coach Swallows. Now Swallows is trying to bring back the old days of Swallows, the Swallows that we know that was being coached from Abo Goran Nicholson, that was being la bekudlala khona abo Lifatutulupa, abo Nomvete, abo the Ball and the Beauty, abo Lerato Shabang. So we do understand what is Swallows mhlambe izama ukwenza lokho, but now they appointed to Steve. That's why I'm saying it's still early days. Steve Komphela is gonna bring his experience la abuya nayo ku Sundowns, because Steve Komphela is used to playing Champions League football.
Mara, with that, I mean, 0 shots, 0 on target. Yes, at some point, Magui Cup competition, don't you go, yes, guys, a loss is a loss. Let's go and try and see if we can do something at the end of the game, take the game to them, because it is a cup. It's not like a league. We're expecting too much from Steve. As you're saying, they're used to playing attacking football as Sundowns. They're used to being on the front foot. They're used to going for it. But then it doesn't seem like he wants to do any of that as Swallows.
That's the thing. We expect too much with Steve Komphela, but we do understand why we have to expect. Because Steve Komphela was once a former Bafana coach, former Kaizer Chiefs coach, Golden Arrows, Bloemfontein City, you named him. So we're having a 0 shots on target in team. It shows a lot about the coaching guy, Steve Komphela. That's why I'm saying he was too defensive for their match, and he showed too much respect to his Sundowns. Like I expected Steve Komphela to be more comfortable playing in Sundowns. The team there, ayaziyo. Like uyabazi abomshishi, uyabazi abo Mokwena, uyabazi ama defend. Like he knows everyone. He knows their weaknesses. He knows their strengths. So for Steve Komphela to go on that match, team 0 shots on target, I didn't expect that. I expected him to take the game to his center, to attack more. Like was Nkumuntu, and even he knows the tactics that Rulani uses, because these are the same tactics that Rulani was using last season when Steve Komphela was there with Sundowns. So I didn't expect Steve Komphela to just sit down. Yes, we do understand they're already 10 men down, but they were supposed to do something like to show us it's coming from Sundowns. It's coming from a team that is used to winning. It's coming from he was once a coach with Sundowns. So I'm very disappointed in Steve Komphela. Although he's a good motivator of any team, but when it comes to tactically was poor. But there was no way Swallows were gonna beat Sundowns. Even on their best day, there was no way Swallows were gonna beat Sundowns.
Let me bring in Ubuntu. I mean, when you talk about MTN 8, it's the top 8 teams in the league. It's guys that are meant to come in and fight with each other. Utu Steve came from Sundowns, and he should know Sundowns, and they should be afraid of him. But 0 shots, 0 on target, they didn't really show anything there. What did you think of Steve's performance?
Upa Steve is so unfortunate, man. Sundowns is the only best team that Upa Steve got it, and they were like already functioning very well. From Ibafana Bafana, when he took over from Ibafana Bafana, we were not doing well. He went on to PROs, or in my respect, whatever at Irvin, and there. We all know, to be honest, it's not, most of the seasons, the guys are avoiding relegation and all that. So he's there to save the team from being relegated. From there, he moved to Chiefs, where he took us to finals, 3 finals, if I remember. We lost all the finals that we played in. From there, where did he go? Where did he go from Chiefs? I can't really remember. But then he went to Sundowns.
Yeah.
To Sundowns, when he went there, he was not really the head coach. We know there was Umangoba, there was Rulani, whatsoever. But when he left Sundowns for Swallows, my view is that, like any other team, like I said before, it's the beginning of the season. We all trying to find how we're gonna play and all that, but he gave me a Sundowns like him that they won against Swallows. That it was like the first half of he gave me Chiefs and Sundowns, where he Chiefs respected he Sundowns too much. So I'm disappointed in that manner, because there Oprah Steve went on there to defend, not to attack. It's a cup game. One team, one way or another, one team has to go out. So, plus now, the red card didn't do him any good, because he had to defend, because otherwise Sundowns were going to score a lot of goals. So for me, I can't really judge him based on these early games. Ask me the same question after 10 games, then I think I will have a better answer. Not now. Because now...
No, go on.
Now, I do want to believe that he hasn't taken much of the coaching or the technical whatever tactics that they're using, but Musa might still be the one engineering all this stuff. But now he's there to assist. But one thing I'm scared of, like while we are talking, I'm looking at this game that they're playing. He's got a problem at hand. He's got who's this guy? Mango there. He's got who's this big-headed guy from Sundowns also? Andile. He's got Andile. He's gonna deal with a lot of disciplinary whatever. Zuma is there. So this guy, I think he's not gonna do a lot of coaching, but a lot of player management because you got Zuma, you got Andile, you got Mango. I was checking like now. This is what I hate the most when teams are playing, especially on teams. They will be standing up, shouting. There is a coach giving instructions and all that. Now, we see the bench. These players are standing up, giving instructions. Kanti, who's the coach here? You understand? So you've got a lot to deal with. But please ask me again after 10 games. I'll answer you.
Okay, no. It's a 007. I don't know if it was just me, but I was expecting maybe not the tactics of Sundowns from Prastiv, but at the very least maybe the attitude and the spirit, especially knowing that Swallows is the top 8 team, knowing that they're playing MTN 8, knowing that it's a cup competition. I understand being under pressure and all of that stuff, but at some point, man, you would go, you know what, guys, how about Khanye so that they know that we're here? What did you see from Steve's performance?
Yeah, I think let me first address Moroka, Drunken Master Solos. I think he's making his own bed with the Drunken Masters. Okay. Maybe he feels he can manage them, but let's hope and see that. Let's hope. For me, I don't want to see another Ujunia Khanye story, another Ndlele Ngebe. What's the name from Sundowns guy? Forgetting his name. Yeah, story. So I hope even them see this as the last chance. But I think it goes back to the point that we discussed during the off season, that how much are teams investing in players' welfare? In the mental psyche. Because I had the stories flying around that Jali was typing a goodbye message and Mokwena exited him from the group. So imagine that grudge and it goes to the game, So I think it raises more questions that, what, we need to address that side of football. Now, back to the game. I think we need to have, maybe we need to be genuine in us analyzing solos. Is solos 0 shots on target, 0 what? Is it a case of solos struggled, or this new Sundowns tactic is preventing teams from creating chances? Let's look at Sekhukhune. We play Sekhukhune first, right? Is it Sekhukhune? Yeah. It had 2 shots on target. 2 shots on target. Chiefs had 1 shot on target. First half it had 0. And we are comparing Chiefs with 1 shot on target with the Swallows. We have 0 shot on target. Now, Chiefs have the same technical team, have the same majority of starting 11 of players, and you're comparing it to a Swallows new coach. And out of the last, I just checked the last squad which played the last game of Swallows last season, only 2 people are surviving from that squad. So it's a relatively new team, and Swallows as a team outside the football pitch is rebuilding, So I think we're just being a bit harsh on Steve, or maybe we're being harsh on
see something like, how like the point I was making even on the live when we were doing the watch along was, fine, it's 1-0 or it's 1-0, you're down to 10 men. When you get down to the last 30 minutes, why not throw on Abo Zuma, Abo Mhango? And, a loss is a loss, but just that attitude of saying, guys, try get something or try play, even if Kitrini, let's make sure that we've gone onto this pitch and given something at least at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I feel as though even Chiefs, when we played against Sundowns, if you remember correctly, in the second half, when Ntseki started attacking or throwing his players forward, you could see Sundowns going through stuff, but I'm like, why not do that? Why not? That's what I expected from Steve, experienced coach, comes from Sundowns. You know, you're expecting that bit of life. At the very least, towards the end of the match, do something, Yan.
The team played 80 minutes, 10 men. You know?
The loss means nothing.
No, it means something. I think we should get away from the narrative that a loss is a loss. A loss is not a loss. Especially if it's a team that you are rebuilding, you know? Have you ever heard of a team called Power Lions? Where are they now?
Power Lions. Don't say Power. Power Lions was not.
No, listen. I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to show you something. No, listen. I'm trying to show you something. There's a team called Power Lions, you know? And after that game, I'm sure it is disbanded somewhere, you know? Had it lost 2-0, the team will still be surviving to this day. You know? A loss is not a loss. It affects the psyche of players. It affects, even as a coach, you start to doubt yourself. Am I doing things right? Should I change the tactics? You know? So we should get away from the narrative that a loss is a loss. You know, football is bigger than what happens on the football field.
But what if you get a draw? Look at Chiefs. When we went 1-1 versus you guys, did you see me change? Chiefs, everybody changed. They were like, oh shit, even if we've lost this game, you get what I mean? And that's why I'm like, I get you guys are saying that it could be detrimental to the team. I'm saying that the other way is also true. If 10 men Swallows is able to go 1-1 versus Sundowns, let's say, right? And then even if they lose after that, that confidence boost for a rebuilding team is incredible. So are you coaching with fear or are you coaching with, you get what I mean? Because the reason why I'm saying this is I expect Coach Steve, not Musa Nyatama, not Kaitano Tembo. I'm expecting Coach Steve to be the one who goes, you know what, in order to build spirit, let's, even if it's in the last 30 minutes, show them something so that I can show my players, guys, you know, let's believe in ourselves, if that makes sense.
So the question becomes, I think the only criticism should be they didn't do enough on set pieces. But let's say it's 1-0, right? And they go all out. They concede 6-7 goals. You know, how is that going to affect them mentally? You know, or compared to as a coach, I'm thinking that, you know what, as a coach, I'm 1-0. I have 2 Sundowns. What if I say, you know what, let me stay in the game for as long as I can? You know, what if we get a set piece and we score and it becomes 1-1? What would be the use of me going all attack? Because since this goes, I get a corner kick. And I score and become 6-1. You then regret, oh no, he did wrong by attacking. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation.
I will never.
And also with Chiefs, remember Chiefs was full. And remember the mistake that I said Ntseki made during the live stream, that he conceded and he got overexcited. Instead of saying, you know what, we got the point that we got, let's settle for the draw that we came here for. They started to attack and we caught them on a counter and he scored. You know, so now I'm saying give Steve a chance. He's rebuilding. It's a new technical team. It's a new system. It's a new Swallows. It's no longer Swallows. It's Moroka Swallows. You know, and I had people talking about Onyatama and Steve. Who is the best? You can doubt Steve's application of tactics, but you cannot doubt him as a teacher of football. You know, so who is the best person to mentor new coaches like Abonyatama? You know, I think Steve is well placed. You know, to mentor young coaches. You know, so I'm not worried about it. And Steve is not the type of Rulani type of character. You know, who has that selfishness about him. I'm sure he's going to allow Onyatama to run drills, to coach, and do all those kind of stuff. So I think I'm not worried about Swallows as a whole.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Thank you so much to the first panel for joining me. We are going to be going just now into the second topic. I just want to close it off. I think for me, guys, sometimes I feel like the PSL is so filled with fearful placeholder coaches. I feel like a lot of the coaches, and I said this about Upra Steve, even though I was hoping that it was something different. I said this about Upra Steve, Guti. Upra Steve will give you top 6. You'll be number 6 until he'll stabilize the hell out of that team. But going forward, what happens, and I'm not asking for teams to be reckless when they come and play Abo Sundowns and be unnecessarily brave. But I'm saying it's a cup competition, right? Sundowns has scored by an offside, or what looked like an offside. They haven't really troubled you guys that much the whole game long. Yes, you're down to 10 men, but I'm like, it's a cup competition, right? Sometimes you have to be brave. And I think we lack, a lot of the coaches and teams lack that bravery to go, you know what, guys? I know that it's Sundowns. I know they're the bigger team. I know everybody's expecting us to lose and all of that stuff. But can you imagine if we score versus Sundowns? Now, if you're saying that I'm building a project, if I score versus Sundowns, right, that's incredible. Just ask the Chiefs fans. Ask the Chiefs fans. When we got that goal, he started in the second half pushing a little bit, right? Still playing with the wrong players, but he was pushing a little bit, got a goal, right? And everybody went, hi, man. You get what I mean? So I'm not asking him to be reckless. You've been incredible for however many minutes. I'm saying it's a cup competition. Last 20 minutes, go for it. Last 20 minutes. Just go for it. Guys, fine, Sundowns scores 2 goals towards the end of the game. Great. It's 3-0, right? But I can go to my players and say, guys, for 70 minutes, for 65, 70 minutes, you guys were incredible, and I cannot fault you for going for it. You get what I mean? Because the best case scenario is what? Now they score. Imagine if Swallows scored versus Sundowns. 10 men Swallows, what. Because again, this is a top 8 team. This competition is the best one because it's top 8. It's not meant to be teams that are maybe a little bit scared or a little bit, It's meant to be, guys, it's top 8. It's the best of the league. But I think the reason why Sundowns is so far ahead is like at times when teams should come out and say, guys, let's go for it. What was my complaint? Or maybe it's just me, because my complaint about Kaizer Chiefs during the week was, Kaizer Chiefs versus Sundowns, we played incredibly defensively well. The defense was incredible. But we had no plan to go forward, right? And even with Sundowns, when you play versus those guys, right, and I've defended for how long, I'm always of the opinion that you need to be a little bit dangerous in order for them to also think of you. Instead of just sitting back and everybody must just push up and do all the stuff on you guys defending. Go ahead and show them, good to know. I may have 2 players attacking, but I'm going to try and hurt you with these 2 players. When Pirates lost to Stellenbosch, that's what was the feeling, right? Pirates played very well versus the Stellenbosch. But you know what happened? Reynolds and Van Veek showed them that, no, we can hit you. So you have to at least think of me. But if you're going to allow Sundowns every single game, to come out and run rampant and have all the possession and have all the thing, and we're defending for our lives every single minute, you're going to lose the match. This is what happened now. They lost. You get what I mean? So maybe I like that football. Like I will never kill players for being a little bit brave. I will never. I even told you guys already. Ntseki. You see that game that we played versus Cape Town City, right? The first half that we played versus Cape Town City. Came out, attacked, did everything. If we lost that game, I'm okay with losing. It's football. You can lose. But don't sit in the corner. Don't sit in the corner and get hit 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 and not even touch the other person. Aye, guys, I'm sorry. You get what I mean? That I can't live with because you were scared. You can be defensively solid and still be attacking. I'll say this until I die. You can be defensively solid and be a defensive team, but defensive doesn't mean that you're not threatening. Sundowns should at least know that, fine, we've got pressure for however long we've been hammering them and hammering, nothing's going in, right? But in the back of the mind, they should know, Guti, at the end of the day, if these guys get up the pitch by 2, 3, 4, and they score those 2 goals, but you can't say that it's 0-0, guys. I'm sorry. Can't defend for 90 minutes. That's just, but